Hi guys, it's Dan here and welcome back to my channel, Dan's Haunted Cottage. I hope you're all having a good day. I hope everything's going swimmingly in your world and with whatever you're doing. I just want to start this video off by outlining, giving details of a piece of activity that I once experienced whilst I was on an investigation with a fellow investigator and two investigators actually. And it was something that happened to me whilst I was investigating the Royal Galleries of Justice in Nottingham. I don't know if anybody's au fait with the Royal Galleries of Justice in Nottingham, but it's reputedly, and it is actually quite haunted. There's quite a lot of activity that's been experienced here over the years, and it's one of those buildings that's it's very historical. There's been a lot of people condemned to incarceration, execution, and also people that have been deported or sent away to the colonies over the centuries. It's also an area there where they used to hang people, which is actually downstairs in the cellars at the back, and there are people that are buried in the grounds of what was the jail there. So to give you an idea, it's a massive building. I think there's probably around about 4 courtrooms there, and they're absolutely humongous, and they're very, very overpowering when you walk into them. There's this sense of regality and this sense of it's an ominous feeling that you get. And I'm not surprised when you think of about a lot of the activity and a lot of the people that have been condemned there over the years that have met their ends there. But just below that, and almost down to the cellar where the cellars are, there's 2 areas there. There's one which is called the women's washroom, and that's where they used to keep a lot of the female inmates. And they would, it is as it describes it, it's where they used to do all the washing and cleaning of the inmates' clothing, and probably the guards as well. But it's pitch black in there. It's absolutely pitch black, and it's all stone. It's freezing cold as well. And this was done in probably sort of mid to late November, a couple of years ago. The investigation was carried out, so you can imagine it's freezing cold, absolutely freezing cold. Now there were 3 of us that were down in the washroom at this point, and there was myself, there was a female investigator, and another guy. And myself and the female investigator, we were just about to leave the dark area and go even further down into the condemned area, or down into where the gallows used to be. And she led the way, and as we were leaving, I heard this shuffle and this slight moan behind me. Now, we all know that sound travels, and it is quite an echoey place, but there was nobody else within sort of half a mile of us. I mean, the nearest person, apart from us 3, was up at least 2 floors, and it's pretty much a one way in, one way out area. So we knew that there couldn't be anybody. If anybody came in or went, then we would know. We would certainly be privy to that. We would see that and we would hear that. So anyway, we were there, and we were just leaving. As I say, I heard a noise and I heard a sound, and I stopped the investigator that was with me. I quietened her to shh, like that, so a complete silence, and then we both heard another footstep, and then another footstep. I remember turning around and going back into the area where I thought it was coming from, and there was a room off to the side that was also pitch black. You really couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It's actually that dark down there. I remember going off into it, and the female investigator, the girl, she stayed behind, and she said, "I'll wait here and I'll be able to cover this area to see if anybody's coming from the other way." So I walked back in. I asked out, as we do, to see if there was anybody there. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. I scoured the area. I walked around the room. I had a torch on by this point. Still couldn't see anything, and turned the torch off as I was about to leave. Turned around, and I said to the person who was with me, "Look, there's nobody there. Must have been just something we must have just, I don't know, we just heard something. Maybe we imagined I don't know. Can't really answer that." But then, as I turned around, and she was right there. She was right there, right next to me. She was like not even an arm's distance in front of me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was right there, right next to me. She was like an arm's, not even an arm's distance in front of me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away from me. She was probably around about 5 or 6 foot away I don't know, 12 to 18 inches in front of me. And I remember seeing her outline. It was completely black. It was solid. And I just went and I said, "Oh, excuse me," her name. "Could I just move you out of the way, please? Because I can't really see where I'm going. And I just want to get past you." Now, she didn't answer. And what I thought was her moved to the side. Then I said, "Oh, thank you very much," mentioned her name. And then from over in the far corner, her voice said, "I'm over here, Dan." And of course, the things that run through your mind then is, well, if that wasn't you that I just tried to move out of the way, who on earth was it? Now, as I say, I mentioned there was a third investigator there as well, and the third investigator actually stood by the door in. So she'd wandered off into the far corner. He stood by the door in. He was probably 4 or 5 feet away from me, and he didn't actually see the shadow either. He didn't see it. It wasn't even a shadow. It was just like a solid black outline of a person. And I acknowledged it, or acknowledged who I thought it was, put my hand out, and as I nearly touched it, it just moved to my left-hand side. And even to that day, I mean, that shook me up. It was one of those things that I have no answer for. Just don't have an answer for it. Yeah, just one of those things that happens when you're on a ghost hunt. Now, people will tell you that, "Oh, you know what? I mean, people watch these different programs on TV, and they'll tell you, some people say, oh, I have experiences every time I go out, wherever I go, and I do an investigation. It doesn't take long, and there I am. I'm in the middle of something. I'm experiencing something that's paranormal." Well, to be honest, it doesn't really work like that. As I say, I've been doing it for sort of 26, 27 years now, and the experiences I've had, you can probably count on both hands. And I mean, if you're a proper investigator, what you need to do is you need to rule out all the environmental problems. You need to rule out external sounds. You need to do what we call baseline checks. So you need to check the windows. You need to check the doors. You need to check everywhere before you go in and do an investigation, just in case you experience things like cold drops or extraneous noises. And then you can basically, what you then do is you countenance them, and you work out what could have come from outside, what maybe came from inside, and then what you're left with is, well, you can't really call it paranormal. You can just call it unexplained. So yeah, if somebody tells you, "Well, I experience something every time I go out, and I have this and I have that," and I've worked with a lot of these people over the years, and a lot of them tend to, and there's great investigators out there, don't get me wrong, and the majority of them are fantastic, but you'll also have people that they kind of, everything that they experience, from the billowing of a curtain in a room with a broken window, to a mouse running across the floor in the darkness, and even something not as significant as that, they will automatically try and convince you that it's paranormal, that they're having a paranormal experience. And unfortunately, that's the type of thing that sort of muddies the waters. It makes it hard to distinguish what is paranormal, or what could be conceived paranormal, or certainly unexplained, from stuff that is environmentally happening at the time. So yeah, there are lots of things you have to rule out. But anyway, that's a little story for you about one of my paranormal experiences. Hopefully one day I'll be able to take you to the Galleries of Justice and walk you around it, maybe on an investigation that I'm doing, and give you a little bit more of an insight into the story then. Hopefully something might happen that night. We will never know. But yeah, just stick with me if you'd like to. Subscribe to the channel if you so wish. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Thank you for watching this video. And yeah, just take care. Bye now.